Okay, so for today, we're going to start briefly in seated position or Sukhasana. So just take an easy cross-legged, roll the shoulders back and down, bring a bit of lift into the chest, and then take a nice big gentle inhale inwards. And then gently exhale to release. Feel the shoulders get nice and heavy away from the ears. You're going to start to sink a little bit into the hips. The knees are going to get a little bit heavier as well. You can even put a bit of effort into the knees. If it feels like the back's really rounding and you're closing up slightly, just gently pull into the knees. The other thing we can do is use a block or bolster, pillow, anything, and sit on that to raise the hips up a little bit. You should feel like you're getting a little bit more length through the spine. So gently working with the breath. Maybe the hands are open on the knees. You might have them in the lap. And then just take that deep breath in. And then that nice big long exhale to release. You're going to work the breath a little bit deeper. See if you can take it from the top of the chest space down a tiny bit lower into the heart space, the rib cage. Release. And then nice and slow, work the breath in through the chest, through that rib cage area, and then down towards the diaphragm. So you're looking for that abdomen to really raise outwards and move outwards on that last kind of third part of the breath. And then gently let that release. And then just do that a couple of times in your own time. Look for that gentle inhale. And then release. And then this time when you inhale, you're going to look for a bit of length through the top of the head as well. So it feels like the head gets really tall, the spine gets incredibly long. The chest opens up, rib cage, and then abdomen as well. And then nice and slow. Exhale, release. Shoulders nice and heavy. Knees and hips are still nice and heavy as well. Take that inhale, draw the hands up as high as you like, and then on your exhale, you're going to take right hand over the other side of that left knee. Just take left hand back behind you, use that for a bit of support, and then just take the gaze towards the left. Enjoy that little stretch on the right side of the neck. Look for that length through the top of the head. Nice, long, tall back. And then gently exhale. If it's comfortable, you might take the gaze a little bit further over the left shoulder on your exhale. Great, we'll gently inhale, turn the hands back, bring them up nice and high. Big exhale, left hand comes to the opposite knee this time, and then bring the right hand back behind you. Think about that lift through the top of the head, through the whole back first, on the inhale, and then on the exhale, maybe you take the gaze towards the right shoulder. So nice, slow, controlled breaths. And then we'll take that gentle inhale. We're going to release the twist, bring the gaze forwards again, raise the hands up as high as you like. You can keep the hands up, you might bring them back down. We're going to swap the cross of the legs over. So the opposite one is in front now. Hands stay nice and high, and I'm going to bring right hand down towards the mat, and then take it into a little twist. So coming as far over as you want to, so you might stay rooted in the hips and then not move quite as far. If it feels a bit more open into the left side body, you might just keep reaching. You're going to keep a bit of space between this left arm and that ear. So chest opens up, the hip opens up as well, as much as it can. It doesn't feel like we're closing forwards, but we're leaning into that stretch as comfortably as possible. Gently inhale, raise the hands up nice and high. Exhale, take left hand down onto the mat. And then just come as far over as is comfortable. You're looking for length into the side body. Right shoulder blade slides down the back still. And you've got that openness between the ear and the right arm. Chest is nice and open. And then just release in through the side body. Right knee, right hips, extra heavy as well. Doesn't feel like our hips are coming up off the mat. We'll gently inhale. Raise the hands as high as you like. We're just going to interlace the fingers. Turn the palms up the other way. Raise the hands up above the head. And then just reach. So really pressing out with that chest to try and get these hands to be up above the head as much as possible. It's going to start to stretch the top part of the back quite deeply. Big inhale, big exhale, and then last time, gently inhale, and then exhale. Great, release the hands. We'll come off of cross-legged. We're going to come through to all fours. Bring the knees underneath the hips, hands underneath shoulders. Insides of the elbows just looking towards each other, just really root down through those hands. Other side of the knuckles and the base of the thumb is what we're looking for, that strong contact into the mat. And then take a bit of effort into the tops of the feet, or gently activate into the core to start with. So you might want to keep pressing down, just firming up, rounding the upper back as much as you can. If you want it to go a little bit further, we're going to press into the tops of the feet and then just lift the knees up off the mat for a couple of moments and then let that release back down. Great, so we can do that as many times as you like, maybe for just 1 or 2 breaths for a couple of seconds. If that felt absolutely fine, then you might just hover it for sort of 3, maybe 5 breaths maximum. Just staying nice and even with the breath, thinking about the knuckles and the other side of the thumb especially, so that we're not crashing into the wrists, rounding through the back and then releasing whenever you like. We might do that one last time, so as long or as little as you like, raising the knees up, activating to the tops of the feet. Feel that stretch into the front sides of the ankle as well. Nice big inhale, big exhale, release back down. Great, so we'll take ourselves to some cat counts, just gently rolling through the back as you exhale, and then inhale. Raise the gaze, roll the spine through the other way into your cow pose. Take it nice and slow. Think about the evenness into both the hands, the tops of the feet, and that smoothness into the back. So you're always looking for the smoothest motion possible, not necessarily the quickest. Great, so stick with it, stay with the breath as well. And then you can take yourself back to all fours. You're going to bring big toes together, take the knees as wide as possible to the edges of the mat, and then swing the hips back as far as they want to go, but keep the hands out in front. Come into a wide-legged child's pose. Nice big inhale, big exhale. Release that chest and the top of the head as far down as it wants to go. You should start to get a kind of opening sensation into the insides of the legs. Just let the hands be nice and loose out in front of you, and then you might release that forehead down to the mat. Give yourself a couple of breaths. And then nice and slow, you're going to raise both the hands, so you've just got the fingertips on the mat. So the wrists are raised up slightly. Walk those wrists as far as you can away from you, and then gently walk them over towards the right hand side. So again, that little stretch through left side body. Big inhale, big exhale. We'll gently walk them through centre. Again, come to the left hand side, so fingertips just to the left. Little stretch into the right side body, and then gently exhale. Feel nice and heavy with the chest into the mat. We'll walk the fingertips back through centre. Big inhale, big exhale. Sink that chest down as heavily as you want to into the mat. We're going to start to plant both the hands down quite firmly into the mat this time. And then you're going to raise the right hand as high as you like, coming to thread the needle, so opening that chest as far as you can towards the right hand side when you raise that hand nice and high, and then swing that underneath. Just let that right shoulder come as far down to the mat as it wants to go. So you might find that it touches down on the mat, you might find that it stays a little bit higher. Left hand might have a bit of effort coming through it as well, absolutely fine. Just see how far you can swing round, or swing that right arm through, that it's comfortable into the shoulder. You're getting quite a deep stretch as well. Gently start to inhale, activate that right hand again. We're going to open out nice and high, and then exhale to release. Bring both the hands back in front of you. Then you're going to take the left arm as high as you like, open into the chest, really pressing that chest forwards, and then gently exhale. Release the left arm through to the right side, so threading underneath the right arm. Left shoulder might reach down to the mat, might stay high. Big inhale, big exhale. Just let the chest be nice and heavy, and let the insides of the legs gently release. Couple of breaths just to sink in through the hips, through the shoulder. See if those left fingers can move a little bit further away from you to release into the left shoulder. And then you're gently going to inhale, draw the left hand as high as you like, open out into the chest. Nice big inhale, big exhale, draw the hands out in front. Then we're going to swing the hips up. So take knees under your hips as well. We're back to all fours. Root down through your all fours again, so make sure those knuckles are nice and flat. We've got the base of the thumb doing a bit of the work, tops of the feet have a bit of effort through them as well. Think about the big toe and the little toe. Are they in contact with the mat, or have we rolled onto one side of the foot? As slowly as you like, we're going to take a bit of weight forward, so swing the hips forward slightly so that the shoulders are perfectly aligned over the hands. So we've come into a halfway plank, half plank. That feels absolutely fine. Tuck the toes, swing the knees up and come into your full plank. So you want the heel, the hip, the shoulder and the head to be in as long a line as possible. So we don't have this sense of the hips dipping down or the hips dipping up. They're nicely in line. We've got an even breath. The insides of the elbows looking towards each other. Then just gently inhale. Swing the hips up and over, back behind you into downward facing dog. Great. So stretch out in your downward facing dog. Pedal through the feet. Double check that knees are in line with the feet. The feet are roughly hip width apart. You can always take the feet a little bit wider as well. So you might bring the feet as wide as the mat to create a bit more space into the hips. And then just really flattening out the hands, checking that those wrists are happy, lifting the hips as high as you like, and then pedaling through the feet. See how the hamstrings feel. Might be super, super tight, in which case you're welcome to bend the knees. Otherwise, just straightening them out as far as they want to go. We'll gently inhale, come up onto tiptoes, lift those hips as high as you like, and then gently exhale, release the heels just as far as they want to go. So you're really pressing out and away from the hands. And then nice, slow pedal with both the feet. Great. So slowly, you're going to walk, step, or hop your way up to the top of the mat. So you're going to bring feet just behind the hands. And then let the top of the head be nice and heavy. You can have a bend into the knees. If there's any tension in the back whatsoever, please bend the knees. If it all feels totally fine, then you can straighten the legs out and then have the head super heavy as well. Tap a little bit over towards the left-hand side, tap towards the right-hand side. Spread the toes out, double check that we've got this pada bandha or foot lock. So you're looking for a little bit of effort through just below the big toe, just below the little toe into the heel as well. So think about our kind of 3 points of contact, that we're nice and flat, even with the feet. And then releasing that top of the head down. So we can think of a little string coming out the top of the head, and it's kind of pulling us down directly towards the ground to help let the top of the head release. The temptation that we always normally have is just to stare at the toes, which means that the head raises a little bit too high. So we really want this sense of the release through the top of the head. Gently inhale, going to come up through halfway. So you just take the hands to shins, knees, or thighs. Elbows back behind you, top of the head's nice and tall. And then take a big inhale in. You're going to feel that the back gets a little bit longer and the top of the head's nice and tall as you inhale. Big exhale to release. Gently inhale again. Top of the head gets nice and tall. This time you're going to bring the gaze towards the right. So you've got your looking over towards the right hand side. Nice small stretch through left side of the neck. And then gently exhale, look back down. Inhale, we'll look towards the left hand side. You're trying to keep the head in line with the spine, so just taking it as tall as it wants to be, really. Just trying to feel that little stretch through both the hamstrings, into the neck. Gently exhale, release the top of the head down. Another big inhale. Last time, just reaching that top of the head as far as it wants to go, and then exhaling, releasing back down. Great. So we can take both the hands down towards the mat.
Release the top of the head again. Have a little tap towards the right hand side, towards the left hand side. From your standing forward fold, you can take a big inhale, big exhale, take right foot back, followed by the left foot. You're in a plank pose. Quick plank as we swing ourselves up and over, back into downward facing dog. Pedal through the feet, flatten through the hands. Big inhale, big exhale. Again, we'll raise ourselves up so we're on tiptoes. Hips are as high as possible, really flattening the knuckles, base of the thumb, and then looking for those fingers to be as spread out as possible. Nice big inhale in, really pressing out away into the hands. It feels like we're sort of turning the armpits in towards each other as well. So armpits are kind of in towards the ears, and then we'll gently exhale, release the heels as far as they want to go. Great, and then we'll release. So we'll bring one knee down, followed by the other knee. We're going to take right foot forwards, so we're in a little low lunge. Great, so just swinging backwards and forwards nice and gently. Look for a little openness into that left side of the hip. Perfect, perfect. We're going to slowly just creep the right toes so they spill off the right side of the mat. We're going to take both the hands so that they're on the inside of that right foot. Feel the hands get nice and firm into the mat so we're kind of supported. You can take the palms down. The other thing we can do is just stay on the fingertips if you need a little bit more height. You can also use a block, a brick or anything to prop yourself up a little bit higher. But it's always better to stay high as well. So just, especially if the hips are feeling quite tight, you take yourself as far forwards as you can, but just stay nice and supported. You might find that that's totally fine, your hips are feeling really open, in which case you can start to draw maybe back down to the palms. You might even come down to forearms, or you might have this little sense of the top of the head starting to release down towards the mat as well. It's going to work quite strongly into the hip, so please either stay quite high. If there's any sense of pain or anything, we're going to take it really slowly, and obviously back out if there is any pain. Otherwise, we can just work nice and dynamically. So exhaling, sinking forwards into the hip. Inhaling, backing out slightly, and then exhaling, sinking in as far as it's comfortable, and then inhaling, backing out. So we're always working where it's comfortable. We never want to work in a point of pain because we're just pointlessly pushing ourselves too far. We're looking for comfort, so kind of nothing wrong with working a little bit, but we're never looking for that pain, especially when we're stretching quite deeply into the hips. Nice big inhale. Release it if you're on the forearms or the head's down on the mat. We'll come back up to fingertips. Going to gently swing this right foot so that it's facing forwards again. Take the right knee back behind you. We'll come to the other side. So you're going to take left foot forwards this time. Just stay in that low lunge, gently swinging the hips backwards and forwards. Look for that little stretch on the right side of the hip. Couple of breaths again, exhaling, sink into that stretch, inhaling, backing out. And then we're going to take these left toes, spill them just off the left side of the mat. We'll take both the hands, place them maybe fingertips on the mat. You might again have your brick, your block, pillow, absolutely anything here to kind of support you upwards. Otherwise, take the hands as far down as they want to go. Gently exhale, sink forwards. Inhale, release. And if that's totally fine, you're going to start to come maybe to forearms. You might find that you want to take top of the head down, whatever is comfortable. So if it's nice to release, stay nice and high and open. You might even still have the foot straight, totally fine. You're thinking about the comfort into the hips and a pleasant stretch. We always want pleasant stretching. Shouldn't feel like anything's about to go or it's just pushed way too hard or it's really difficult to kind of come out of again. Nice big inhale, and then big exhale too. So give yourself 2 final breaths, releasing on this side. Again, exhale, release into the hip. Inhale back out, and then one last time exhale. Feel nice and deep in that stretch, and then inhale Release, we'll swing the left foot back so it's forwards again. Plant the hands back, swing the left foot back behind you. You're going to take the hands down on the mat one last time. Swing the hips up, skipping plank pose this time. Just coming to a quick downward facing dog. Pedal through the feet, release the top of the head. Shake the head a little bit, yes, no, maybe bring the gaze up towards the belly button. Pressing through the hands as best you can. One last time. Swing yourself up onto tiptoes. And then gently exhale, feel nice and heavy with the heels. Great. See if that was any easier than when we first tried. We're going to slowly bring one knee down, followed by the other knee. Swing onto your back. Take the knees up as tall as you like. Roll the shoulders back and down. Get that openness into the chest. And then just take both the knees towards the right-hand side. Notice that little stretch on the left side of the hips. And then gently bring the knees up tall. Take them to the left-hand side. And then we'll bring the knees up tall. Just walk the heels so they're just within reach of the fingertips. Slowly, take the tailbone up. So one bridge pose, setu bandha. You're looking for the hips to go up as high or as low as you like. Hands can be completely loose. They might be really firm. You might take them up above the head. Just bringing the hips up as high as you like. We've got the feet underneath the knees. Really opening into the chest. So it feels like this chest is kind of opening outwards towards kind of where the head is. Light engagement into fronts of the feet. The glutes are lightly engaged as well. Slowly we'll release through the back. Let the hips release. Bring one foot long, followed by the other foot. Have the hands out, facing upwards. Take a nice big deep breath. Another big exhale. Feel super heavy into the mat. And then scan through the feet, each the legs, the hips. Into the lower back, the upper back. Down each of the arms, elbows, forearms, hands, and fingertips. Notice that little rise of the chest on your inhale. And then fall of the chest on the exhale. Take that sense of release through the neck, the jaw, the face, eyes, ears, up to the top of your head. And then just notice the next 2-3 breaths. Just slowly breathe through the nose. Great, so taking that next breath a tiny bit deeper. Take some movement into the fingers, the toes, stretch a little bit more into the hands, the feet, maybe take the heels away from you. Raise the hands as high as you can up above the head, stretch. Nice big exhale. Let's take one knee followed by the other knee up in towards you. Give yourself a little hug in towards the chest. We'll roll to one side, press into the hands. Going to come through to cross leg, back to square one again. Roll the shoulders back and down. Stay nice and heavy into the hips and the knees. Maybe again we'll notice if this is any easier. It feels exactly the same. Take a bit of lift into the chest. Maybe bring the hands into the chest. Take the biggest, deepest breath of all day. And a big exhale as well. Namaste. Thanks very much for tuning in and hopefully see you again soon.